I upload these lives on YouTube, by the way, so if you're looking for the other interviews, I've done a few. Go check them out. They're on my YouTube. The link is in my bio. Alrighty, guys, we are going to be bringing in Jewel, who is in California. She is a mom. She is also a personal trainer. Her fitness journey is really inspiring. And again, another person I met on social media. I love networking and connecting with people all over. And I met Jewel within the past couple of months. Please go follow her. You'll see her pop up here. But Jewel is going to be talking to us tonight about thriving after leaving a toxic relationship. And I don't think it's coincidence. I have a lint roller because this thing is lint. I don't think it's coincidence that I was just talking to somebody else. She's gonna pop up soon. It is Jewel-Miss Fit. I'm going to, if you stay on, actually let me see, maybe she's on here already and pull her on. Okay, Jewel. Sorry guys, I'm sorry. Okay, it's Jewel_Miss MISS period fit. Jewel-Miss Fit. Yes, go follow her. I'm gonna invite her in a second. But today I was working at the nonprofit organization that I work at on Thursdays, and I was counseling a girl today, and she was literally talking to me about how she's in a toxic relationship. And so we had a really good conversation about healthy relationships and all that good stuff. And I don't think it's coincidence that we're literally doing this interview tonight with Jewel. So I'm so excited to hear more about her story and how she is thriving now. So let me go ahead and bring her in. How are you, girl?
I'm good. I just got off from work. I'm kind of move that off my screen. Yeah.
Now, what exactly do you do again? I know you're a personal trainer.
I do that part-time. I'm also an admin assistant. So I've been doing that for almost 10 years now.
Wow.
So I like it a lot, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome, Joel. Well, thank you so much for joining. I'm really excited because you and I, we've known each other for a couple of months now. And again, you're a social media friend. You're somebody that I came across your profile and you just really inspired me, and I saw your fitness journey and everything. You're a mom, you work so hard, you are dedicated, and it's really, really inspiring, girl. With that being said, why don't you tell us who you are, what you do, and a little bit about your story.
Okay. Well, my name is Jewel McKnight. I am 32 years old. I work as an admin assistant, and like I said, been doing that for about 10 years. I'm a personal trainer part-time. I'm a full-time mom to a 7-year-old boy. So my life is very full of adventures.
Yes.
So with me, I'm the last child out of 8 siblings.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm the baby of the family. So I spent a lot of time kind of just watching all my siblings go through life and pretty much like taking mental notes. But at 16, that's when I got into my first relationship. And
wow. Wow,
yeah.
you're so young.
You're
so young.
Yeah, 16 years old. And it was my son's father, and we went out for about 11 years. So it's 11.
Wow.
And yeah. So that's what had impacted me the most. You know, being so young, getting into a relationship, and it was long distance. A lot of red flags came up in the beginning that I ignored, and I didn't know any better. My parents are still here, both together, but I guess I didn't have the guidance that I needed, and that's not to bash anybody, but I just didn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of red flags, infidelity, manipulation. So kind of make a long story short, it went from me being 16 to 25 years old, had my son. By the time he was 2, that's when we had split up. But when I got out of it, that's when I really kind of like saw things more clearly. I
Mm-hmm.
never thought that I could be so clouded, but when you're young and in love,
Yeah.
a lot of things could be clouded. And, that was definitely a learning experience. And coming out of that, like even today, it's been 5, maybe 7 years. Um, I still have triggers from that.
Mm-hmm.
Even coming out of that relationship, got in another relationship maybe about 6 months later. I thought I was ready.
Mm-hmm.
So it hasn't been a perfect road, but it's been bittersweet because I've learned so much about myself.
Yeah.
Getting into fitness, that definitely helped a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The, so yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Joel. I didn't know like the extent of all of that. So when did you start? You said that you had red flags at the beginning, but when did you start to really see like, oh, this is a toxic relationship?
Ooh, maybe about a few months in. Yeah, a few months in. But at that point, everything I just tried to justify.
Yeah.
And that's just what kept me. And there was a lot of breaking up, getting back together, and it's just a constant cycle. So yeah, everything I just justified, and it was 3 months in. I just didn't know when was. I thought that was love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you were 16.
Hmm.
There's so much growth that we still need to go through, and to us it's love is so different than what it really is, but at 16 you think it's love, and it's most of the time it's infatuation or just those good butterfly feelings that we get with that person, and it's hard to really understand love at that age.
Hmm.
Yes. So you stayed with him for 11 years. You're kind of on and off. Did you move in with him once you got a little bit older? Was he around your age as well?
We were 3 years. We are 3 years apart. We did eventually move in. Really, when maybe about 6 years later, I ended up moving to Los Angeles. So he was an hour away. Moved to the city around 21 for work. We reconnected. Um, Same cycle from that point on.
Mhm.
But yeah, so like I guess I tried to like implement things that I thought would make things better. Uh,
Mhm.
but maybe it would be good for 2 weeks or maybe a month, and then it'd go back the way it was. Um, yeah, so I mean, it definitely impacted me in a way where I tried to do more than I should have. And I'm grateful for that. I still kept on like supporting myself.
Mhm.
I couldn't imagine if I became just like financially um,
Like
dependent
dependent on him, yeah.
on him. And that's what my mom always taught me: work hard, take care of yourself. So I ended up getting my associates in criminal justice.
Good
Um,
for you.
I work in 2 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing. It's like even through all the rough times, lots of tears, lots of embarrassment, um, I still just kept it together.
Mm-hmm.
And
What would you tell somebody that thinks that they might be in a toxic relationship, but we tend to lie to ourselves when we are in those situations, and like you said, justify. What if somebody is watching tonight and they're wondering, okay, what is a toxic relationship? What does that look like?
well, definitely, I think we kind of overcomplicate things. Like, and I would say I do the same thing for myself. If you're not being respected, if someone isn't fully invested in you, then you should take a step back and reevaluate. You know, is this serving you? Because you do have to put yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing I've learned, especially with having my son, especially for your mother. You have to
Yeah.
put yourself first. You don't want that your children to be caught up, to see that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, put yourself first, respect yourself. Um, what's the worst that can happen if you leave? I think
Yeah.
the worst thing is staying and losing your dignity and having someone
Right.
control you. Um, yeah.
So the toxicity is control. You said manipulation, infidelity. Was that something that happened right away, or was it throughout the course of the relationship that it started to get worse and worse?
That happened right away.
Really?
Yeah, it happened right away. Guess I kind of give an example.
Yeah, yeah, please.
Like woman reaching out to me and telling me stuff. And so it started off with a lot of bullying, and yeah, that's how it started. It just went on from there. Things just didn't change.
What do you think the hardest thing was? First of all, I'm so sorry you went through that.
Thank you.
That that's not something that anyone should have to experience.
No.
Unfortunately, it is very common. It's pretty common in relationships. There are very toxic relationships out there that are really hard for people to leave. And I think one of the reasons is soul ties, which I was talking about earlier today. From personal experience, soul ties tend to be, do you know what that is? Like when you
I
feel like, okay, so it's like your soul is really connected to the other person's soul. It's like more than just like the outer attraction, but like you really feel like your spirits, your souls are connected.
hmm
Even if it's toxic. And a lot of the times I do feel that it is in toxic relationships because they tend to emulate the familiar. So what we grew up with and what we are comfortable with, even if it is toxic and unhealthy, we tend to gravitate toward or attract naturally. So when you start to have that soul tie, usually that soul tie happens because it's familiar.
Yeah, I
So
would
if you
agree.
ever talk, what?
I agree. Yeah.
Yes. So if you ever talk to somebody that uh, they've experienced the soul tie, or they got into a healthy relationship and then they ended it, and they'll be like, well, it was just like uncomfortable. He was too into me. He was too nice. That's because it's healthy, but it's uncomfortable because that's not what you grew up around and you're not used to that. So we would rather be around something toxic when it's comfortable because we know how to act in those situations, even if it's depleting us, right?
Oh yeah, and I've
Did you,
experienced that.
yes, did you find that it was like that really hard soul tie to break free from?
It was, just actually experiencing someone that treats you right, treats you the way you've always wanted to be treated. It is very, very uncomfortable, and you do tend to push people away. And it came to the point where I had to realize how I was treating other people. Like this whole
Mm.
year has been a self-reflection of just learning about myself. But it has been humbling. So like, yeah, it's unfortunate that, some people got hurt in the process, but
Yeah.
I also had to be sympathetic to those feelings.
Mhm.
And so, and I do see at some point, I decided to see a therapist because I wanted to figure that out. Like, also,
Yeah.
there's something that I'm still battling, even after all these years. You
Yeah.
think that you've gotten over it,
Hmm.
but if you haven't done the work, it's really not going to go anywhere. It's just buried in the back, and you know what you're really not going to get to where you want to be if you don't do the work. And it doesn't have to be with seeing a therapist. I journal. Um, I do things just that are therapeutic that
Hmm.
help me be compassionate to those emotions.
Yeah, I like that. So you honor the emotions.
hmm
You acknowledge it and honor it, by seeing it for what it is, but giving yourself that compassion and grace that you need in order to work through it. That's
Correct.
really important,
Mhm.
Joel. And I think as far as like you saying that journaling and a lot of self-reflection this year, that's so important when it comes to not only growing in life, but leaving a toxic situation that you may be in. You need to take a step back and really journal and figure out who you are and where you want to go. Write down those notes of who you strive to be. What are the characteristics you want to hold? Uh, who do you want to attract, all of that stuff. So like you said earlier, it was almost like you were in a cloud and you didn't really see it until you took a step outside of it.
Oh, yeah.
How did you officially leave the relationship?
You know, things just got worse and worse. Really just like finding that last text message, and I just started to become someone who I didn't like. You know, it's in a way, I really saw that I've just lost myself. The
Yeah.
happy-go-lucky girl that I used to be, that wasn't me anymore. And especially at that point, I was a mother. My son was 2 years old. I didn't want to keep on living that way. So it was, you know, maybe the 15th, this is over, but I knew it was over. And also at some point, you really fall out of love. You're
Yeah.
just trying to keep a family together, and that's not something I wanted to provide for my son. So it was hard,
Yeah.
but I knew it was the right choice. You know, it's not easy not recognizing your self-worth,
Yeah.
and to not do that for 11 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Did you have like friends or family telling you, hey, like, what are you doing, Joel? Why are you still with this man? Did you
Always.
have anybody? Okay.
Yeah.
What was your response when they would say that?
Oh, again, I try to justify, you know, oh, you know, this, he's just going through something. Um, he didn't have the life that I had. So I definitely tried to justify his behavior, or just even when there was the infidelity, and I tried to
Yeah.
justify that it's, well, he said he was sorry, or it's been a few months. So I definitely did not listen. Uh,
Yeah.
as in looking back now, man, I should have listened. Um, yeah, I did have a lot of family and friends that were, you know, why are you
They
trying to
saw
make
it.
something work? That's not
Yeah.
working. You deserve better. And unfortunately, like at that, like literally, I didn't think I deserved better. I couldn't imagine anything else beyond that that was better for me.
When you look back, do you think it was um, not seeing your worth, or is there something deeper, deeply rooted that you found whenever you went back to like figure out like why did I stay for this long? That you during your self growth journey, what were some things that you discovered about yourself that maybe made sense as to why you stayed for 11 years?
I would definitely say like the self-worth. I would also say like there's trauma that I experienced before that, and he was the first person I shared that with, so we definitely
Um,
bonded over that.
mm,
Um, so in the strangest way, he was like my safe place.
mm.
Um, yeah.
And he was your safe place because he was the first person you were able to share that with.
Hmm.
And did he accept, and you felt accepted, and he kind of loved you through that?
Yeah, I felt accepted, I felt heard, and to have that,
Mm-hmm.
that meant everything to me.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's just something that just kept me going back. I have a connection with this person. I must um, be with this person. You know, we must have, you know, we have to get through this. Um, yeah, I didn't see anything beyond that.
Joel, that makes so much sense. It makes a lot of sense
Mhm.
that you felt that way, because now we're talking about trauma, and when you share trauma with somebody and they love you and accept you, despite of what you've been through, and they're there to encourage you through it. I mean, that definitely creates a connection with that person that can be very hard to you know disconnect from.
Right,
Uh,
right.
Now, I know you said that you had never shared it with anybody before. Did you feel as though, and if this is too personal, you don't have to share, but did you feel as though you were never going to be loved because of what you had been through. So when you experienced something that was kind of like love, you were like, okay, I found it. Like, this is why I'm going to stay. Is that part of
I
it?
did. Yeah. And like looking back at that, I was very, very wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, because even just did this day, like I've worked through that and I've see so much more out of it. You know, I can be loved in just the way I am. It doesn't take one person. Doesn't mean I have to stay with one person because they understand. Um, yeah.
I think that's why a lot of people stay, is because we all just want to be loved and accepted, right? We all have that desire, I think, at the end of the day. And so, Jewel, when you say that, girl, it makes so much sense, you know, and I know people watching this can relate
Mm-hmm.
because that is a very common thing. And it's called trauma bond. So when you connect in that way, it like you said, feel like your safe place, and especially if you were longing for a safe place for a while, like it can be like, okay, finally I found it. I'm
Right.
not going to let go of it. And a lot of the time, when you've experienced trauma, you just want to control situations and you want to feel in control. So when everything else is feeling out of control, and then you find this one thing that seems, you know, like, okay, this is safe. I am going to hold on to it for dear life and
Exactly.
not let go. And I don't, almost like, I don't care what I go through. I'm not going to let go
Mm-hmm.
of this until I guess eventually you break.
Right, right.
Is that what you felt like happened with you? Is you just had enough?
Oh, absolutely. It was, you know, where he's going to go. Yeah, I definitely just had enough, and thank goodness I have my family to support me.
Yeah.
So I had moved back to my hometown to
Mm-hmm.
be with my family, and they're very supportive. They didn't really ask any questions. Just okay, you're home.
Mm-hmm.
You're, you know, our
Good.
grandson's here, and let's go.
Yeah.
Um, so, and it does make it hard that I do still see him, but I definitely had to set boundaries.
Yeah.
You know, to still see somebody that you spent 11 years with, then you have a child with. Um, it, you know, it's difficult, but
Mm-hmm.
just the setting boundaries was the most important thing I had to do, um,
Mm-hmm.
because that definitely interfered with my healing process.
Yeah. Yeah. Setting boundaries is huge, and learning, that's part of learning self-respect and honoring your feelings, you know, like what you said, honoring your feelings, your emotions, and what you're working through. And part of a huge part of that is setting those boundaries, even if the other person does not understand. It's okay. You're a personal trainer. How long have you been doing that for, and how did that tie into leaving this toxic relationship and healing?
Well, I've been a personal trainer off and on for about a year now. I've always been athletic. So, like, after I had my son, that slowed down. I didn't have time for the gym.
Naturally, it's okay. We
Uh,
all relate.
yeah. So, after I had him, it was about 6 months. I had fell into a really bad, like, deep depression. Um, I couldn't get out of bed for about a week, and again, that's another thing we had bonded off from. He was there when I needed him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so coming out of that, I did gravitate to like going to the gym. Like I needed to get out of the house,
Mm-hmm.
go walk on the treadmill, and that helped a lot. Um, so from that point on, you know, time went on. I actually just kind of stopped going to the gym. I had to get back to mom life. But I definitely took care of myself in different ways, and that's just taking my son for walks, just spending more time with him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that definitely showed me that I had strength,
Yeah.
because during that time, I really felt like I was in a black hole, didn't know how I was going to get out. But even that little bit of I can get up and I can move and I can feel good about myself, that definitely gave me strength. And from that point on, just working out, kind of do my own thing. Um, just over time, I just definitely gained strength through training.
Can I ask, was it postpartum or was it situational? Did something happen?
It
Was
was
that part of
situational.
leaving?
Yeah, it was situational. So with depression,
Yeah.
yeah, that was situational. Um, it was very unexpected, and
Okay.
yeah,
The depression was unexpected?
it was. Yeah.
Really? Okay. So had you struggled with that before, or did this kind of happen after leaving?
Um, I did not struggle with that before.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so when that happened. Um, so yeah, after I left, I had 6 months later got into another relationship, and that was quite toxic as well. More verbally, wasn't physical, just more so just having somebody talk to a certain way and you just like taking it.
Mm-hmm.
Verbal abuse. At that point, that lasted about a year. And again, fitness was my tool
Yeah.
to get back up. So in a way, that's just kind of how it became like the common denominator to get just to give me that self-confidence. After
Yeah.
like in relationships, you just kind of forget about yourself. You
It's
stop taking
part
yourself.
it's part of self-care is health and fitness and all of that. And I didn't work out for like 2 weeks, um, recently. And I was like, wow, I really could tell the difference.
Oh, yeah.
Like it really makes such a difference in my mental state, all the things I get done. I become lazy. I, just don't want to do anything but sit on the couch and snuggle up.
Yep.
I'm not moving.
So many people
But
to do
like,
that.
I like, there's nothing wrong with that, like doing that like maybe once every week or something,
Right.
just lounging around. But like I legit was like, I don't want to work, I don't want to do this. It was really hard. Of course I had no choice but to get up, but it was hard, and I was like, dang, it's because I haven't worked out. And
Yep. It's so easy to get in that state, but like you said, like once in a while is okay, but you don't want to stay there.
yes, yes. And especially as parents, I think moms can totally relate, because it can be very overwhelming, very tiring. We do a lot as moms. And then on top of that, the thought of taking like fitness and working out and stuff can be very overwhelming. But Joel, what did you find kept you going? So, you said that you did struggle with depression that kind of came out of nowhere. And how did you get from I can't get out of bed to now I'm a personal trainer, and this became your thing that you do to make yourself feel better?
Well, definitely I got to the point where I just did not feel good about myself. I was pushing 230 pounds, had high blood pressure. Um,
Mm.
that wasn't me. For being someone, I did track and field in school. I did
Yeah.
cheerleading. I was always athletic, and I just really noticed that I was losing myself.
Mhm.
I was everything I was doing at that point was either for my son, who's the most important, or somebody, a significant other. So it was kind of just coming to the point where it's okay. Do you want to change, or do you want to stay where you're at? And it is hard. You develop all these coping mechanisms.
Mhm.
I've also kind of still do struggle with binge eating. So that was my coping mechanism, but it wasn't doing anything for me. So
Yeah.
I literally had to take it day by day. I couldn't go cold turkey with it, but just making little changes, whether it's not going to McDonald's and eating at home, uh, or taking the time to work out, taking the time for myself.
Mhm.
So, definitely just putting myself first. Um, and as a mom, you kind of feel guilty about that.
But we shouldn't.
Yeah,
We
you shouldn't.
shouldn't.
I mean, obviously, if you're gone every single day, then
Yes, there's a limit. for sure, there's a limit, but that's why they have a kids club at gyms.
Yes,
Like,
I'm sure they don't. They close it down.
oh,
But
really? Oh, no.
yeah, but like he stays with grandma.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
yeah, just putting myself first, and just after that, it just really rolled into me getting a personal trainer. Like I just really wanted to do it. I didn't want to go back to how I felt anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then it just became like, okay, well, I kind of want to know what's going on with my body.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't really want to just take information from somebody and then just go by like a menu they give me. So that's why I started studying for my personal training certification. I have that now. And overall, and this is what I've always wanted to do, was just be able to give back with just knowing how
Mm-hmm.
much I've experienced. I know someone else is going through it.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but just to encourage somebody like you can do it too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that would mean, like, if it's just one person, that would mean the world to me.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely motivate me. You know, I see you posting your videos and I'm like, I should probably get to the gym. You've been motivating me, like for real, for real. Because and that's the thing is I come across this often, I'm sure you do too, like especially moms. You know, there's so many moms out there that want to feel good about themselves again, but we just it's so hard. It's so hard. And then like your kids are eating, you know, their stuff, so then you just snack off of their stuff.
Yeah,
And it's like when you're so busy, especially in like the younger years, like it's really, really hard.
it is.
But like you said, like you didn't just go cold turkey with things. You took it day by day and small changes. That's how you win the race, I feel like, is doing
That's true.
small little changes overall make a big change.
Hmm. It is, and change is scary. Not gonna lie, it is scary. But there's so many more rewards at the end of it. Like,
Yeah.
um, at first, yes, it was more like I want to look better. I want to look better in my clothes, but it really just changed my mindset about how I feel about myself. Um,
Mm-hmm.
just like how I speak to myself.
Yes.
A lot of more positive talk. Um, so it definitely helped me in that area as well. So I'm definitely grateful for taking a chance on myself, for leaving myself to do that. Even my son, I'm like, "Are you going to the gym?" So so just to show him that, yeah, you gotta, if you want something,
He's
go
watching.
after, work hard.
Yeah, and we're teaching them, you know, the importance of health, which people automatically like correlate health with being skinny or like weight and stuff, and it's really not. Like, guys,
It,
it's so much more than that. And like health, and you can be skinny and be so unhealthy, you know. So it's all about taking care of your body and your vitamins and nutrients, the greens, the protein, all that stuff is will really affect the longevity of your life and your mental state. I mean, there's a lot to it, and like you said, it changes the way that you speak to yourself, because you have to mentally tell yourself, my body hurts, but I'm going to do another rep. I know when I started back up like 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago, I would literally cry at the gym. I would cry. I'd be like, I'm in so like I would just like my body, just because I was coming down from like um eating so much carbs, like binge eating,
oh,
you know,
okay.
like, and it's a real thing, like withdrawal, like carb withdrawal and sugar withdrawal, like these things are real.
Oh
I
yeah.
really did not, I felt so just sluggish and bad when I started eating healthier and working out, and your body's just tired because it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's in shock.
Yeah, it's in shock. And then I'm just like, I don't want to be here. Like, it's not pretty, guys. Like,
Yeah.
you see the reels and we're like, we might look good in the reels, but y'all, you don't see what goes behind the scenes. Like,
Yeah, but I edit out the crying on the inside.
yes, yes, you don't see the crying prior to that video. We wiped away our tears already. Like, knowing that, like, hey, like, it's hard for all of us. And I got somebody asked me, like, how do you find motivation? And I came across this reel where this girl was saying, you don't find motivation, you just do it. Like you just do it, even if you are feeling unmotivated. And most of the time you will feel unmotivated. What advice do you have for someone listening and they know that they're in an unhealthy relationship or entanglement? Let's just call it entanglement.
Yeah.
And want to break free from that, and they feel as though they can't, and they keep running back, like what you had said you personally were doing. What is the advice that you have for somebody that is in the situation you were in?
I kind of put it this way. If you have a child, sister, cousin, and someone was treating them the same way that you are, how would you feel about that? You would instantly be like, hey, you got to get out of it. But yes, emotions are strong. Yeah, just recognize your self-worth, because you do deserve better. Good people still exist out there.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. You're not going to be alone. That's all the things I used to worry about. And it's just not true. I think a lot of toxic relationships are like glorified on TV.
Wow. Snaps for that.
That
is
it
so
hard.
true.
It makes, and you look at it like, well, so-and-so got through it. They went back together, but it's all just, it's not reality. It's really not.
The definition of toxic is like poisonous. It's like a slow death in a sense.
Yeah.
You are literally losing yourself. And if you feel like you have to compromise your morals or your values or your worth or your joy or, any of those things, like you really do need to take a step back and be like, is this what I really want in my life? And you might not know what you want in life, and that's why you continue to stay. But like Jules said, really taking that time to figure out who you are and what you want in life and writing that down. And emotions can lie to us. Just because we're feeling something does not mean that it is good or that it's true. So we might be feeling the butterflies, but lust is a very powerful thing. And lust is completely opposite of love. So being aware of that and asking yourself, what is this really? Because love is not always going to be the butterflies. Love is so much deeper than that. If you are not blossoming, but you're wilting in the relationship and you feel it and you feel depleted, you are most likely in a toxic relationship of some sort.
100% agree.
A healthy relationship will water you, and you will blossom and grow, and you will literally thrive. So I guess those are the two things to really ask yourself if you're wondering if you're in a toxic relationship. Emotions lie, and they are a lot scarier and feel a lot more powerful than they really are. Thank you for sharing your story with us. I know it's never an easy thing to do, but you had so many good gems, jewels to drop. Such great jewels to drop, and it was definitely inspiring, and I'm so proud of you. I mean, you really are thriving now, and I see it.
Thank you.
And I hope
that
I know it's so crazy, all the people that I like just randomly come across on social media, and I'm like, oh, I know I need to connect with her, and you're one of the people, and I was like, I really need to connect with her. So I'm really glad that we did, girlfriend. And I really do want to come out to Cali, just FYI. I have always wanted to explore California and the West Coast. Definitely. So I'm not saying anything, but I might be saying something. But yes, girl, I really just appreciate you. I appreciate your time. I know you are so busy, so I really appreciate your time doing this for us. I will be posting this up on my YouTube channel. The link is in my bio. Please make sure to go follow Jewel. Jewel_Miss MISS.fit. Go follow Jewel. Go let her know how this inspired you. If this is something that you are currently experiencing, please know that we're here to talk with you. If you don't have anybody else to talk to, please reach out to Jewel or I. And I just want you to know that we're here for you. And go follow Jewel in her journey of thriving. Go follow her. Go support her. And you all have a great rest of your evening. Alrighty. Bye, girl.
Bye.
Yeah.